Yeah, it's zero. For tax purposes, the book value, the asset is zero after 10 years. Book value means, remember, fixed assets are recorded in financial statements at historical costs minus accumulated depreciation. So book value is historical cost minus accumulated depreciation. After 10 years, if you're depreciating by straight line, book value is zero. There may still be a residual economic value, which we actually call salvage value. Let's say you bought that truck at 35,000, but in year 11 you were able to sell it for 5,000. As far as IRS is concerned, you made $5,000, even though you bought it at 35. Why? Because you have written off 35,000 in the first 10 years. So book value is zero. You have something for tax purposes that has a cost of zero, but you sold it at 5,000. That's profit. You pay taxes on that. Okay. We will get to that, but that's going to be based on depreciation percentage. Now, for the last one, uh, let's do this. Let me actually right here 3, 5, 7, 10, 15, 20. Okay. I want to be able to do that with a drop down box. So here is what I'm going to do. On a given cell, you want to either enforce that only certain numbers can be selected, or you can still give freedom, but you can also kind of provide a shortcut. When it's makers, I want to be able to select from a drop-down box. Under data tab, there is this little button called data validation. Click on that. I'm going to allow a list, and this list is going to be 3, 5, 7, 10, 15, 20. And for the error alerts, I'm not going to have any error alert if nothing on that list is entered. And since, let me go back to it. I said ignore blank. So if it's blank, there's not going to be an error message. But if also, it also puts an install dropdown. So if I'm going to pick the tax life, I can either pick one of these. Oh, I don't need the parentheses. Or I can directly write 8, for example. Obviously, there is no 8-year makers, but if you're doing straight line depreciation and you need to do 8, fine. Let me correct this one. Okay. All right. We'll do something about that. So let's call it depreciation dollar. Take whatever depreciation or depletion, multiply it with the cost of assets. And let's also do book value, because that's going to be important for after-tax salvage value calculations. The first year, cost of assets minus depreciation. After that, let's do this. max of book value previous period minus that period's depreciation, 0. For straight line and makers, that's not a problem. But if you're doing depletion, depletion doesn't necessarily have a uniform rate. So let's make sure that when everything is written off, we actually have 0 book value. So if it's true, basically after 3 years, everything is done because you already spent 105. Actually, this is incorrect as well. Instead of that, we should say the first year, fine. The second year, I need to be careful. I should say minimum of so I missed something over there. What remains and what's used. Even though I drove the truck 25,000 miles in year 3, for tax purposes, there was only 20,000 left. So if I wasn't careful about that, I could have written too much depletion. You cannot depreciate anything accumulated more than 100%. So by being careful about some stuff, we kind of created a depreciation table. The only thing we haven't done, we haven't taken care of this maker's case. So what we're going to do, given the tax life, we're going to go to that table, okay? We're going to basically grab it from there, all right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something called VLOOKUP. Actually, in this case, HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP, where the H stands for horizontal. You have a table. You're going to try to find a match in the first row. Once you find a match, we're going to say, okay, grab the value in the following column, following row. Okay. So we're going to say the first argument is, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the tax life. Okay. Where am I looking for it? I'm going to be looking for it. Actually, let's do it here in this table. Okay. Which is the maker's table. Once I find it, which row do I want? Well, year 1 corresponds to 6, so year 0 is 5. So it's going to be basically that plus 5. There's a last argument that says whether or not the match should be exact or approximate. You want, in this case, exact. If there is no exact match because you entered 8 and there is no 8-year maker's table, it's going to basically return an hashtag NA, which means you made a mistake. So the last argument is false if you want an exact match. So let's make this false. Let's make this true. There is no 8-year makers table, so I get an error. So let's pick 7. Okay. Let me see. If I, oh, this should be -5.